I was thinking what kind of song to write for the year 2001. Should I compose a nation building song or just blaze them politicians? But when I hear Pandey get 19 seats and he run and give a speech of victory, I tell myself something wrong, so I compose this song for kinky head people like me, because I don't understand what's really happening. For years me Crooks and Panther was busting we liver string. Well, I honestly believe the message was loud and clear, but the results from the elections proved to me stick breaking black man air. They don't hear. So don't expect me to jam your prime minister.
No, don't tell me.
I stopped drinking bush tea for your fever.
I said no, don't tell me.
Cause you ain't do it once, but you did it twice. Elections gone, is you choose Barabbas in front of Christ. So if you notice your little daughter bringing home a grand, because Camilla sent she to a school inside the Bitam, and when she bring home the baby father, the man like more sex than Pandey. Please don't stop me in the road to complain, cause I have nothing to say. My personal comments I will reserve.
You got a government you deserve.
To complain to me now, but you got some nerve. You got a government you deserve.
A pleasant good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. And how are we doing this afternoon?
I try my best to put sense in black man head. The consequence I was not afraid. But when I see Keith and Daphne on TV, deep in my heart I felt betrayed. Cause I remember
you are tuned in to another session of Class in Session,
sing me song,
hosted by yours truly, Royalty James.
I would have take out she name and this.
Pleasant good evening to everybody on my YouTube and on my Facebook page.
Hell, but Satma Raj wouldn't say so. As black man open me mouth, he find that man in should go. To these negative response from the black man, I'm not surprised.
Good evening to my good brother Peter Francis. Good evening to you, sir.
Today black man is his own demise. He ain't wise.
Alicia Nuss out there in St. Good evening to you, sweetheart.
BBC.
No, don't tell me.
Because I know some of you vote for UNC.
The persons on my YouTube page, you're there again for another wonderful evening. Good evening to you.
And how you can't get work to maintain your family. So if you end up just like a criminal on the run,
the voice of Michael Osuna.
all the promises that they make,
The name of this election, I plead the fifth.
And civil servants can't get it.
Coincides nicely with our Grenadians government right now.
Please don't stop me in the road to complain, cause I wouldn't be amazed.
My little knowledge, no, I will preserve.
You get a government you deserve.
To protest of them now, it take plenty nerve. You get a government you deserve.
Mind you, this is my favorite type of music, right? I like old school, biting commentary music.
It's from the public I get my lyrics.
You just give me inspiration. You just give me the strength and courage to slaughter them politicians. So when you hear they condoning Pandey and condoning all that is wrong, it's like giving me bread and a whole glass of milk, then you turn around and kick it down. Pandey call businessmen parasitic oligarchies.
City oligarchies.
But today Jacona and the praise is good bodies. What excuse you could have to put Deacon in power? If you ask anybody, they'll tell you that man was done a fuck-tongue cobra. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Don't tell me Caroni going through hell.
No, don't tell me.
I hear is Grand Lake NDC go sell.
I said no, don't tell me.
Don't tell me nothing about the Incogen deal. And how they never give account for the shipload of rice they steal. But if you notice, Carlos have a brand new Beamer, and he delay delay the process till he come a minister. And you're here
That is the multi-talent that I have.
from the Miss Universe show as a gift. Please don't stop me and ask me to confirm, because I plead in the fifth. My little crocodile tried to preserve.
That is the talent that I have that a lot of persons don't have, right?
Ask man and how much money he left reserved.
That ability to both talk and sing. That ability to even know music. Thank God that I'm gifted, right?
Allos! Sugar!
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot from Michael Osuna there singing Sobriquet. Sugar Allos, all the way over there, Trinidad and Tobago, right? Now, we can't stick too much in the music because we have an interactive day, right? I did say to you guys that today is going to be one of the interactive days that we're going to have. Every Wednesday, we will try to, if you can call in or you don't want to call in on the program, what we will do is be able that when you're in the comment section, whatever your comment, I would attempt to read, ensure that you're not obscene, insultive, nor threatening, neither try to defamate anybody's character, and we would be able to read your comment. So it's going to be an interactive evening. It's going to be a wonderful evening. Ladies and gentlemen, you know my program, you know the person that I am, right? I want to commend and congratulate the facelift that was given to the Grandance Hard Court. Really, to persons who have passed in the area within recent days or weeks, you would realize that the Hard Court has been given a slight facelift, right? And it is, I believe, the responsibility of the person in charge of the constituency to have done such a job. So we commend Brother Andy Williams on a job well done, right? It's a wonderful facelift. I'm seeing persons saying it was a job that or a project that was initiated by Mr. Cox or whomever, but we must understand that government is continuum, and the mere fact that government, this administration and the parliamentary representative would have taken the initiative and continue with it, right? And so we want to commend them on such facelift, right? It is just a renovation. I believe it was much needed, and so we can get the ability to maybe see the development of basketball again in the Grandance area. I remember when I used to be bouncing a 2 little ball, I used to be part of that sporting facility, right? So I always do that, people, and you guys know me. I would commend. I'm not just here to castigate and hate. They can't do that on their program. Others can't do that on their program, right? If it involves Kit Mitchell and the past administration, it was something that was not good at all. They would find some fault in it. But however, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes it's always good to be the mature, intelligent thinking person. And it is a very good initiative that was continued by the parliamentary representative and this government. And so I want to be one of the persons to commend such. All right? That is just me. That is the person that I am. All right? I hope persons don't go about saying, oh, Prince change now. Prince change color. All right? Also, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, that would be on the 6th at 7 p.m. at the River Sally Primary School, I want to believe. The New National Party, a few of the parliamentary representatives would be there. Even the political leader and the past prime minister will be also at that forum. So we invite persons within River Sally and the surrounding area. St. Patrick's East, I believe, is the constituency in which it would be held. So we're asking everyone to please go out in your numbers and listen to the deliberations that will be made. The meeting that would be held there would start at 7 p.m. sharp. And so we're asking persons to go out there and be a part of that conversation. All right. We have also been given information today, made public, that the 3 escapees who fled to our sistering island in St. Vincent today, I believe they have been deported back to Ireland. And so I hope that now that the jurisdiction now lies within the Tri-Island state, that our Commissioner of Police is now competent enough and would be paid enough to be able to give us information as it relates to what happens thereafter, right? I know the last time this question was posed to him, his salary did not afford him to be able to answer such a question. So now we're hoping that within the few days, he has become competent enough, one, and two, that his salary now reaches the mark where he would be able to assist us in any question that is asked now in terms of what would happen thereafter with these three gentlemen. But however, today's information coming from the sister island of St. Vincent, the information is that the three persons will be deported back to Grenada. And so, no, definitely, Carla, it is not at this program, but we want to ensure that from time to time, we want to commend the persons from the other side if something is being done in the development of our country and to aid in the development in many other different ways. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, again, tomorrow is the start of the inter-primary school sports. It will be held at the National Stadium. And so we are imploring to parents and guardians alike that they ensure that the safety of their kids are of paramount importance tomorrow. All right. We want to ensure that when you send your kids out to the games for the next 2 days, you ensure that if it's parents or guardians or friends alike, they are the ones that would aid in assisting your kids in getting back home safely. And so you don't just leave it up to the mere fact that you believe that your child or children are old enough, right? So please be cautious that related to that. Somebody say, Papa, oh, I sure when they come back here, they're going to escape again. You might have to come out of it. Not think so. We're seeing a bulletin again today. The review of the Gazette published since July 2022 show no notice announcing William Thompson appointed nor the other board members. But however, I want to say that we have information that Mr. William Thompson is the chairman of Garfin, and that information, I believe, is one of the information. I don't know how many of you all are aware of that information, but Mr. William Thompson, former Commissioner of Police and the current National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, is the chairman of the Grenada Authority of Regulations of Financial Institutions, which is rather funny. Section 10 of the law established the authority states appointed in accordance with Section 5 shall be published in the Weekly Government Gazette. Section 5 speaks to the appointment of the Board of Directors. A review of gazettes published since in July of 2022 shows no notice announcing that Mr. Thompson's appointment or the other board members who are paid for their services. So apparently since last year, this gentleman has been given such a position and it was not published. The board members, as published in the 2022 annual report of the authority, are Siobhan Britton, Deputy Chairman, Kimberly Andrew, Laurel Shiffon Benford, Alan Brzezinski, and Valentine Fraser. According to the legislation, the minister serving in the finance ministerial portfolio is responsible for appointing the chairman and deputy chairman of the board. It is unknown if the board was appointed while the Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell was serving as the finance minister or by Mr. Dennis Cornwall, who became the finance minister in April of 2023. The board is responsible for the policy and general administration of the affairs and business of the authority and may make laws, right? For the administration, managing to control property, affairs and business of the authority, governing functions, duties and remuneration of all offices, agents and other authorities, concern conflicts of interest in respect of directors, officers and employees of the authority. And it goes on. But however, ladies and gentlemen, my reason for bringing that to light is the contradiction that the fact that this individual has been the chairman from since July of last year and it was not gazetted based on this piece of information that has been made public. It seems like himself and other members who are being paid for the position, apparently at this stage, it is unknown. It is unknown, ladies and gentlemen, that he was even the person in charge. And that is why I'm saying to you, and since yesterday, on yesterday's program, I mentioned to you guys the mere fact that these individuals are very reluctant in information dissemination. They really don't want to give it. They dare not want to give it. All right, for whatever reason. But however, this is the reasons why we're here. And so I want to start today in recapping, because remember I told you guys yesterday I would try looking for some clips in which they would have made lovely promises, nice promises that was made during the election campaign. And I want to start with representation. I want to start that they endorsed themselves. And when they were endorsed, they mentioned that we would see different form of representation. And it started with the endorsement of this candidate and now parliamentary representative for St. Patrick's West.
Something that I pledge to bring to the table is effective representation. And the only way I can be a representative and an effective representative is by being in constant touch with you. I cannot say that I'm your representative if I do not talk with you, if I do not listen to you. And I pledge, sisters and brothers, that one of the hallmarks of my tenure as your MP in the future will be regular and meaningful consultation. We have some problems to tackle. The problems of youth unemployment and youth underemployment. The problems or the scourge of contract work for our young people, leaving them vulnerable to political manipulation. This is something that I and the rest of Team NDC give you our commitment that we are going to tackle immediately and robustly. The climate of fear that exists in our country, and in particular in our parish, that has to be exorcised. Some years ago it was said that we have demons here. Well, we have demons. We have the demon of unemployment. We have the demon of victimization. We have the demon of marginalization. And under my leadership, I give you the assurance that those demons will be banished once and for all from our beautiful country.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was the voice, or this is the voice, this is the voice of the parliamentary representative for St. Patrick's West. And you heard how lovely he spoke as it relates to the demons that it had within his constituency, pledging to his people and his supporters that his representation, that's what we want to touch on, his representation. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anybody, I wonder if there is anybody on the live from St. Patrick's West. This is one of the individuals since taking office in which many persons, even one individual who was very vocal during the election campaign for him and the NDC, today is a bit perturbed as it relates to his representation and as it relates to the issues that continues to plague his constituency. This individual who pledged to you guys during the campaign how much they would have brought a difference to the table. The question posed now, after such time in office, have you seen that representation? Has those demons that he mentioned there, have they been removed? I can answer that question for you. It is a resounding no. It is one of the representatives that are continuing to be asked for. Where is this representative? Persons are asking the question. And as I said, as we go along, I want to ensure that I can read some comments. Somebody saying that they run up their mouth in Grove and open the polyclinic this afternoon. And the diaspora goons thinking that NDC accomplished. This government is delusional, dark smoke administration. Right? This is what you get from this administration. The mere fact that they played so much on the things that when it happened under the past administration, they beat on it. Some of the things that when they were on the sidelines, they told you was not good at all. Including the now mentioned polyclinic, the amount of kick they sent left and right as it relates to that. Today, you see many places in which they take pride in going and cut ribbons They take pride in going ahead and say, and government that do that, man. And then you see what they're doing now. They're not wanting to represent or recognize the past administration. So all where you see the past administration did big projects, what you see now sponsored or whatever it is by CBI program. That is what they're doing now. So nothing happened because of the past administration's initiative. It is simply no more the government of Grenada. All the way you pass, and I don't know how many of you all would have observed it, that most of the areas, even the Green Bridge area, is one of the areas you can see whereby the project has been done, and the airport government of Grenada, you see they mentioning about CBI. But up to this day, they can put nothing to their name and put CBI close to it. We're continuing to play clips as it relates to things that they mentioned. We're moving on. His advisor. Now we're learning that he's in charge, or the chairman of Gaffing. And then he run down this. He mentioned this.
And how do we reward the police officers? Merely by a token 1 month's pay? Merely by a token 1 month's pay, when the government is fully aware that the pay scale for police officers have not been adjusted since 1995. Let me repeat that. The pay scale for police officers has not been adjusted since 1995.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is something he knows. That is something, and you see, you realize that he has done his homework very well. That he knew all the things that were lacking, all the things that was not initiated, all the things in which past administration and governments did not initiate. So you knew definitely that since from 1995, the government or no government, past administration or previous or before them, did not do anything from since 1995 to the pay grade of police officers. You knew that. You have read 2 budgets thus far. 2 budgets since you have taken office. And ladies and gentlemen, remind me, send me a clip, send me a bulletin, something where this administration has since addressed the issue of pay and grade. Something he knew that did not happen since 1995. And he said the one little payment, or the one little improved payment, remember, government would have paid that double up, I think in the end of 2020 or so. He said it was a mega 1 month salary. But what have you done, knowing, being aware that since 1995, that this administration, nor any other administration, the past or any other administration did nothing to the pay and grade of police officers? What has your administration done so far? You hear campaign talk? Reading another comment. I want to know how long Deacon Cornwall and St. Bernard was CBI agents. Because if these conmen and convestors were scamming Grenadians and Grenada, one of the CBI agents must be vetted and be benefited from such. And I will ask the question till I get an answer. A very pertinent question. Because all the persons in whom they mentioned that the past administration would have given passports or citizenship here in Grenada, they consider them to be con men and persons that was not good at all. But now it is coming to light that there were members, or there are no members in the cabinet that was CBI agents during the past administration's reign. Corruption, eh? Conflict of interest, eh? Hypocrisy. Because, and it is a very good question, because if those persons who were con men or con persons during the time of the New National Party's administration, you were agents. You were agents within the CBI program. How is it that while you were there waiting, you didn't red flag those individuals? But today you come in and tell Grenadians that those persons were con men. But you were part of the CBI team as an agent, seeing those con men and other persons gaining passport for our countries, and you said nothing. You said nothing. Your legal firm, the Prime Minister today's legal firm, was an important and integral part in persons being vetted to obtain passports here in Grenada. Why is it that Mr. Deacon Mitchell did not at the time let Grenadians know that the CBI program then had con men? Why, when you were vetting them and they came and asked and applied to your form and you vetted and you realized that they were con men and con women, come back to the government and say, no, we're not going to be a part of your agents or the agents that would give approval to this? As somebody saying double standard. But now you take office, you're hearing all the bad things about how the CBI program was good and the CBI program was this. But now it is come to light, or it has come to light, that three persons, Deacon Mitchell, Mr. Cornwall, Mr. St. Bernard, were members, agents of the CBI program during the time Dr. Mitchell's administration was selling passport to con men and con women. They were part of it. So what is the truth? What is the truth? A great question there, person. Very good question. Somebody's responding to the polyclinic conversation. I want to state for the record, the polyclinic in Guelph was opened in June 2022. And that is a fact. By the Honorable Alvin W. before the elections, and that is a fact. So I don't know what they're opening now, if it's a new wing. I don't know if it's a new wing. But that is a fact there. Right? Let me go on to another conversation. Because you see, as I said, so we would have tackled the fact as it relates to representation. Representation in which they campaigned on. And I'm giving them a fail for representation. The police and the pay grade conversation, I am giving them a fail again because nothing happened there. And we go on to another one.
When youth unemployment is at its best because of the lack of opportunities for our young people. Mr. Administration, sir, you are being prosecuted tonight and you are under oath. Is it true that our youth do not have access to low-income housing and that they are not able to afford basic standard of living? Is it true, sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, we jump on the issue now of youth and youth development. I like to hear him. I wish every time I said I had to say youth, I could have played how he said it. What have you all done to improve all that you would have mentioned as it relates to youth and youth development in Grenada? Youth development in Grenada is at its worst I have ever seen. And I am speaking about a time in Grenada when young people should be more involved in the development of Grenada. Because you all castigated the Imani program and all other programs. The Empower program, the Fly program, whatever program that you all made there for youth development was cast aside. And you all have yet to initiate any youth development here in Grenada. Anybody prove me wrong? This administration have done nothing to put monies, substantiable monies, into the pocket of our young people. Absolutely no project, absolutely no initiative. All you see, sometimes they post, they have some kind of development program here and they have some development program there. Nothing with vigor. Nothing to help our young people. And then you speak as it relates to not being able to have the standard of living and not be able to own a low-income house. You have Imanis working for $604 a month, collecting $300 and something fortnightly. And you have low-income houses at $120,000. Which bank, financial institution will look at a young person's salary at $604 and say to them, look a loan to get a house for $120,000? Tell me which financial institution will do such. But you stood during the campaign and talk about youth and youth development and make it sound nice. Somebody said the transformation didn't take booth on the ground, didn't work. So now it is up, clinches galore to cover the fact that they have no achievements. Just platitudes. Shameful administration. All the things that they run it down. We're seeing young men that we knew that are customary offenders. They're back out there. Back to their old ways. The Empower program did something significant to that level of development to young people in Grenada. He took them up the street one. He developed them too, and he placed money in their pockets, and it gave them an opportunity to be able to make yourself better in the future. But you all stood during the campaign and all about youth and youth development and youth this and youth that. What have you all done with a proper initiative? Look, giving money is a little something. Like we project. Or you just renovate that. And look at the mess that is still causing. The payments is still not adding up. The maths don't max it. Somebody saying they renamed the school feeding program. They renamed the bathroom program, the toilet program. Well, yes. Well, Grenada is no more Grenada. The place is no more named Grenada. The place is now up and up. Nobody does say, I'm going down in Grenada. No. Ask any foreigner. Ask them, we're going up and up. That's what they want. They initiate and improved on nothing. This is our second Minister of Youth. Under 2 years, this administration introduced 2 Ministers of Youth. The last one didn't leave nothing good for this one, and this one ain't doing nothing better to improve what the last one didn't do. 2. This administration had 2 financial ministers in 2 years, or just a bit under 2 years. And you're telling me this is an administration that had planned to come into office? You find that this is an administration that had an idea as to what has to happen? Even after taking office 6-7 months, you still realize they're running around like headless chicken. And all you hear they're talking about, oh, we signed for this. And then you hear Andy Williams stand up and say everything was in the pipeline. Well, no, everything not in the pipeline, everything down the drain with this administration. At least the pipeline, we could have locked it off and hold it there still. We could hold the water in the pipeline. So hence the reason why when you came into office, we had statements being made like this.
It is true, Mr. Speaker, when we came into office, we made plenty money. Right? And the SES had plenty money. It is true.
Listen, me people, anytime I hear this man, one thing does come to mind. Listen what does come to mind anytime I hear this gentleman speak.
Drink and drunk, yes, guys me in name. Always make me family shame. Like Marianne all day, all night. A staggering high like a kite. It's Christmas, every day is Christmas. I could bring me wrong trust, give me many fast. I love to be drunk and smiling, always in custard.
Alright, let's get back to class. I just want you see, this administration admitted this administration admitted, and nobody saying that they feel, Nobody's saying that they felt or they believe or what they're saying is a lie. They said it themselves. They said it themselves. So all the question now at this stage, what was really done with those finances? What was really done? What are we seeing? What has been the improvement? What have you done? What have you done? The CES program, disappear. The CES program disappeared within months. Poor management. About 14 persons had to take leadership, take control. You had to move this one, take on this one. They admitted there were monies, they admitted there. So what did you guys do with that money? What was done with those finances? Who have it? Where it is? How was it spent? On what? What did you prioritize on? Those are the questions now that you need to ask. And you speak youth development. And they spoke, and as they can, and as watch it, I read the manifesto, you know, and I could never forget the page 13, that spoke as it relates to youth and youth development, and the involvement of youth in different entities and programs, and in involvement in cabinet and decision making in the state. Grenadians, we are not yet realizing would have fooled us. We are not realizing that these people did not have a plan. And yet still, after a year, you're realizing that these people are still not understanding that their role and function is to govern and initiate and ensure that the betterment of Grenadians are being met. And you're saying to me as a form of understanding that they are a young administration? They just come, they just reach. But whenever something goes good, you hear they exalt as if they were there years. I saw something on Facebook that spoke to an achievement from Sister Kirin. One of the poorest representations that one of the constituencies are being faced with by a young politician. You can't say what is happening within our ministry. And when you speak about her, you say she's young, but she make a little achievement and she's not young again. She's experienced enough to collect such an award or such accolades. So speak of the good only. Speak of the good only. Somebody is saying, go back on NDC's page and try to find the convention. I think they take it down, but the convention was done virtually, and there was a lot. Somebody saying there was a lot of bickering. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the things that you need to go back to. Those are the things. And when we speak about it, we're unfolding it today. Let's go on still.
But when I said, in response to the question, that we will make the Imani workers who are working, and I underline working, permanent, it is no gimmick, it is no joke. If you do not pay your citizens a living wage, you are confining them to poverty. And as the government, we have to lead by example. We have to lead by example. If the government treats its workers that way, what do you think private employers will do? So for those who've been called Imani, for the mothers who have 2 and 3 children and who are working for $800 and $1,000 and $1,200, we know you cannot survive on that. We know you are part of the 35% that the World Bank says is living in poverty. And as I've said, we will transform this. We will recognize you as a full worker in Grenada.
Mouth open, words jump out. Have we seen that initiative taking place? Has you seen that happen, ladies and gentlemen? The only increase that have happened significantly in Grenada is their salaries. The only significant increase that have been done thus far by this administration is by them and their goons and supporters. So no more that we're working for $800. We have persons now working for $604, less than what was being paid for. Less than what was being paid for. So the 35% that the World Bank speak about, this administration might have just increased it to about 40 or 45. Because if we go around and we ask a lot of the young people that were getting $800, how much are getting now after the deductions? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself this question. So when this administration spoke and we listened to them, and electorates took in what they said, and when Dr. Mitchell said to you guys that it's a pie in the sky conversation, it can't happen overnight. Based on the economical structure of Grenada, it can't happen. When he spoke as it relates to pension payment would drift us, we laughed. And all kind of names was called. Old man, old tortoise. And today, this administration yet to push a dice in half of the things that they mentioned. Tell me how many Imani workers have been made permanent, removed on contract. Instead, they send some home. Ask yourself this question. The only thing they have led by example with is within a few months within taking office, they increase their salary to $2,000. And then we just yet have a big increase, about $5,000 or $9,000 more. And there are persons on all kind of board, like screw. Everywhere you turn, this person is in charge of this, but he there on that board. That person is here, but they're there on that board. And they are part of that board. Collecting all kind of stipend from all kind of board, like ply. And you're asking yourself the question, where is the involvement of young people within certain cooperatives? The integration, the amalgamation of young people within a lot of the cooperatives here in Grenada? Ask yourself that question. Don't beat yourself up on just the Imani program. How many young people have been given the opportunities? How many young people have been given new opportunities? Don't forget the Imani program. How many young people have you seen improved within the government? And government have bring them up in certain places. I think the youngest might be Orlando. You need to put these things into perspective. You need to remember those things was campaign promises. We're not running on fumes or hatred. We're running on conversation that was held by this administration. We're running on things that was said by you guys. You all that said it. And I'm looking for one of the clips, because somebody just bring it up and tell you, some of you guys like we think alike. Trust me. Let me ensure that I get it. Because one of the persons that she drove a nail into the pension conversation when Dr. Mitchell spoke about it. I want to ensure that I get a clip in for you there so that I could be able to play it. But somebody would have mentioned about pension and pension reform. And remember very early, in one of the very early sittings within the Senate, what they castigated about Dr. Mitchell, the same Claudia Joseph had to come back in the House of Parliament and open she mouth about it. I want to ensure that my finger fall on it because I don't want to lie on them. The same Claudia Joseph who were part of it and said to them, oh, Dr. Mitchell doesn't want to pay. Dr. Mitchell don't want to pay Grenadians. And Dr. Mitchell hates Grenadians. When he broke down as it relates to the pension and pension payment and the pension reform, everybody was there, he just don't want to pay. And then the very first sitting that she had, let me ensure that I get it. Make sure I go into my files and get it properly for you guys. want to start posting them too, so some of you guys, when you're in your conversations among their supporters, you could be able to. Somebody saying, I just came from Grenada a few days ago, and a woman told me that she's working for $1,100 a month, and she is renting for $800. How can you leave on that? This is Grenada for you. We can't dictate somebody, the private entities. We can't go to them, or the private owners. We can't tell them how much to rent for. But sometimes we have to take it as it comes. I want to ensure I get a clip, because I have so much things stored on that flash drive. I should have selected it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. I want to play out. Tell them.
In this atmosphere of deep cynicism about politics and politicians,
let me get the clip itself.
It is
raise the issue of contract work.
Right.
And how unfair contract work is, whether it's taking place.
Listen.
Raise the issue of contract work.
Listen.
And how unfair contract work is, whether it's taking place in the public sector or the private sector. And the need to regularize as much as we can contract workers. But let's be straight. We're going to be straight with the nation. Contract work and pension reform must go together.
Okay.
Because we commit to pay the retroactive pension, and we are doing so. We understand the import of the ruling of the court. But so as not to do severe damage, perhaps even irreparable damage to our economy in the long run,
okay,
we must work out a pension plan going forward that's sustainable.
Tell me Dr. Mitchell didn't talk about that. Tell me in Dr. Mitchell's conversation that he held as a national address to the nation at the Trade Center, if this wasn't the same thing he was vocalizing, if this wasn't the same thing he was saying to you as Grenadians, that the whole conversation of pension payment, pension reform, and contract work is not going to affect us now. It is not going to affect us now. But in governments and other parties and other administration to come will feel the pinch. And if he really hated, knowing that he was actually on his way out, he could have just said, let it happen. Go on.
Because as it stands now, when people retire, they are entitled to NIS, that's public servants I mean, they are entitled to NIS plus government pension. And government pension is a non-contributory pension, which means the government alone pays everything into the pension fund, plus under the NIS law, the government pays 6% into the NIS, into the National Insurance Fund. So, going forward, that will be a really hefty sum.
Dr. Mitchell's words, when he spoke as it relates to, I think, the $145 million or so, and how hefty it would have been. Here, neither Dr. Mitchell, let's talk it either. That is not Dr. Mitchell's voice you're all hearing either. No. I know. It sounds, the words sounds repetitive, right? This is not Dr. Mitchell. No, that is Claudia Joseph. Yes. Claudia Dade. That's not Dr. Mitchell. Go on.
That the IMF and everybody else have already warned is not sustainable going forward as it is.
Right. No. Are you still asking me? That is not Dr. Mitchell. He don't have that kind of voice. Those are the things Dr. Mitchell's conversation get at. The address at the Trade Center. Go back and look at it. Remember those words, maybe not as she's saying it verbatimly, but these are the implementations that he mentioned. How it would affect so much things within the government, and other entities would have to play an integral part. Government would have to increase on so much more in order to aid in the pension and the pension payment. Remember, what was paid is pension retroactive. Pension retroactive, there is money owing. That is money that was owing to persons. That is what his government paid. Pension retroactive. But however, in going forward, there are more persons that are going to join the pension list. And immediately after they would have left, they would have to get a pension. And let's take into consideration that not one person that is going to be retiring, or two persons. There are persons who came around the same age group. Persons who were 30 years ago and retiring now at 60 and 65. Maybe going home by the 10s and the 20s or the 50. So Dr. Mitchell spoke as it relates to all that. But they cast it aside, mentioning that Dr. Mitchell don't want to pay the pension. But he paid $104 million in pension payment. They don't mention that to you. Go back to your history. Find out about it. Go on, Sister Mitchell.
Plus, if we regularize contract workers across the board without at the same time treating with pension reform, what do? We bloat the public service. And treating with pension reform, what do? We bloat the public service.
I could put that on a repeat whole evening. I'll just get up and go, and all you would listen to that for the rest of the evening.
Fund the public service, and in so doing, the amount of people who will be eligible for pension. So we call on our friends in the labor movement to sit with us and work out.
Listen to me. You're telling me this is not a joke? You all never listen to this lady? Dr. Mitchell called on all labor boards. And the Grimes and them who jumping now, they denied it. No, we don't want no conversation. They didn't want any conversation. Because at the end of the day, they believe them is it. They have faith. They know it all. They knew it all. At the end of the day, people, that is what budgeting is. You pay now, you use now, but later on down. And I'm saying, if they're stating that the past prime minister was a dictator and a wicked man, and he know he's going home, being one of the richest Grenadian that he is, he should have let go the strain, pay it, and leave all you with nothing there. But it's because of his consideration for governance, understanding what politics is, understanding what governance is, or you could boast and all you pay pension retroactive, like all you know anything as it relates to all the state funds was controlled and managed. Like all you know anything about what all you made there and how all you get it, how you reach in the first place. You need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that when you speak politics in Grenada, it's like they believe you have a hatred. I don't hate no politician. And if you go around as an electorate hating politician, you are wasting your time. You judge a politician based on the action of their governance and what they're in charge of. A ministerial role, a grouping, a constituency. That is how you judge politicians. You can go around hating people. At the end of the day, they were persons that elected them. You understand? I tell you, it's different. We have to start posting it for real. Let's go get registered, man. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I took the opportunity. That's just a few. That is just a few that I would have mentioned, because I know there is much more. I know, ladies and gentlemen, there are more. And we call on you guys to continue going back, remembering this. Go back and remind yourself as it relates to things that they mentioned. Go back and remind yourself.
March 20 on Saturday.
Sorry. Go back and remind yourself. Look at it. All the documentations are there. Look at it. Fear not to remind yourself as it relates to what was said. Fear not. We have to remind ourselves as it relates to the promises made, the things said, the castigation made by the past, as it relates to the past administration. Keep them focused. Let them know that we're still here. Let them know that we remember what was said. Let them know that we're not going anywhere unless they answer a few questions. As it relates to one that Peters would have asked earlier on, if there were CBI agents before, how come these con men and con women got CBI passport and other things? And other privileges when there were persons that today sits in government, holds the highest position in state, but there were CBI agents and the program was corrupt. Ask them those questions. Ask them what have been the development by this administration for young people and youth development in the state. Ask them the question. Have they improved the housing authority, the housing and the housing management for young people? Ask them that question. Fear not. Because they said it. When government mandates themselves, and remember that's my words, when government mandates themselves to an achievement, you hold them responsible there and then. That is when you hold them responsible. Not because, oh, you hear they say a man tell me they say they're doing that. That don't work with that. Listen for yourself. Hear it for yourself. Have them utter the words to you again. Go back and watch the clips. And ask yourself the question. Alright? We have just about 3 more minutes. Just take one or two comments. Somebody saying the NDC mouthpiece and goons trying to get as much diaspora support to vote for the NDC. They even going as far as to tell these people out there don't send the money or barrels home for their families if they don't vote for NDC. If NDC is so strong in Grenada, why are they intimidating family members into entrapping for a vote? This we need to call out. Well, we don't have any concrete evidence on it or information. I think we would treat it as it is. It's just information. So we don't want to just run with it. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, it was another wonderful evening. I hope everybody is doing fine and their family members are doing fine. It's another wonderful, wonderful evening. I want to just mention that March 9th, which is Saturday, would have marked my very first broadcasting. So I would have been March 9th would be the very first year of my broadcasting. So March 9th of last year, I started my very first broadcasting here in studio broadcasting that I'm speaking about. So I will be marking 1 year on the 9th, which is Saturday, right? Which is a blessing that I want to at least give God thanks for, the support that you all would have asked for and so on. Somebody saying, can I ask you a question? Where is the PM? Well, now it's 6:59 p.m. That is what I can tell you. That is what I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. At this stage, I know anything about PM that I can tell you is that it is just 7 o'clock p.m. Sales Promotion and Simeon's Grocery and Bar presents Village Bingo Easter Edition $5,000 bingo on Saturday the 30th of March at Simeon's Bar, or there in Paul's. I think about $20 would get you a ticket, so go out there and be a part of this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, somebody saying tomorrow will be my mother's birthday. Happy birthday to Martin Charles' mother. All right, so Martin Charles, happy birthday, advanced birthday to your mommy. Mommy, do have a blessed one, and may God continue to renown his blessing over you, and so you would have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. All right, so God's blessings to you, Martin. Make sure you do something extremely out of this world for mommy. All right, it's a blessing to have your mother still being here with you, I am not that fortunate, but however, I know the greatest love that you could ever have in your entire life is a love from your mother. All right. Good evening to everybody that would have been on the program. Good evening to my family and friends, each and every one of you who have been tuned into this evening. We'll be back here tomorrow at the same time, same place, to again broadcast information of social and political issues that are in confronting our lovely little island. Good evening to the members of Her Majesty's opposition and to the past Prime Minister. Good evening to you, sir. One of these good days, I gotta get your friend Shalon jump the gun. Shalon jumped the gun the other day, and then he had Doc on the program, and I feel like kind of way. Alright, but however, is One Love Still. Sheldon Scott comes up thereafter at 8 p.m. Alright, so tuning to Talking Point later on, and every other program that gives you the opportunity to have information as it relates to what is going on in our lovely little island. So have yourself a blessed evening again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Royalty James. I am out for another evening. All right. Thank you very much for listening.
Are you having problems with pain? Well, we've got the solution. Use Nut Magic Pain Reliever today and feel the pain fade away. Nut Magic Pain Reliever is produced right here in Grenada by Black Gold Enterprise and can be used for the relief of sore muscle, joint pain, cramps, backaches, arthritis, and other related symptoms. It's magic in a bottle. You can find Nut Magic Pain Reliever at major pharmacies and supermarkets on the island. Call or WhatsApp Black Gold Enterprise at 458-1330. Look for Nut Magic Pain Reliever on Facebook and on Instagram, or send us an email at bgegrenada@gmail.com. Get yours today and say goodbye to pain. It's magic in a bottle.
It's magic.
On Saturday, March 30th, Easter Saturday, marks 20 years of New Face Promotions signature event. Are you ready for Revo Dance 20? Revo Dance 20. Wait, what? Yes, the Golden 20 at Caribbean Breeze, 276 Belmont Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. And this year, we're doing it spectacular, featuring live from Grenada, Dash, Mr. Golden, and from New York, Kush and Alma Boy. Those open 10 p.m. Showtime 12 midnight. Get your $50 tickets now. More at the door. And they're available from West Cuisine, Universal Barbershop, Shanda on East 53rd and Claxon. Or call 347-304-5453 for more details. Cash App or Zelle accepted. Dress code Camo or Army Green. And you must be 21 and over. Your DJs coming to shell down the dance. Queen D Fire, DJ Silence, DJ Little B, DJ Synergy, DJ Naughty Vibes. From Grenada, Selector Beast. Hosted by Mad Vibe. It's Revo Dance 20. Saturday, March 30th. Caribbean Breeze, 276 Belmont Avenue. Sponsored by Pascal's Wood Flows Inc., A1 Construction, EU Clothing Line, and City Sound Radio. Revo Dance 20. The Big Dance.
To be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here in this country. You got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody in this country. It's outrageous and insane, them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for little piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because Dudu Capitalism gone mad. To provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility in this country. So many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day in this country. Avariciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them an open license to steal.